heart of your teams, the heart of St. Louis. Valley Sports Midwest, the heart of the fan.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Happy Father's Day on this Sunday afternoon. Let's play two from Truist Park in Atlanta. Today it's game one of the doubleheader. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. And welcome to our Valley Studios here in St. Louis with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great to have you with us as we get you set for baseball. And here in game one, we thought he'd go last night. He's now going in game one of the doubleheader. It's a former Brave minor leaguer, and what a trade it's turned out to be. Adam Wainwright going for St. Louis.
Yeah, some people will say probably one of the best trades in Cardinal history, if not in the top 3 or 4. This guy has been amazing. What would have happened if this trade never happened in 2003? Where would we be? We would have some trouble stopping some losing streaks, that is for sure.
Absolutely. He closed out the 2006 World Series at that point in his career, working out of the bullpen. And now, here in 2021, a stalwart for the Cardinals at the age of 39 in their rotation. So Adam Wainwright gets the start tonight. It's the Braves. It's the Cardinals. Baseball coming up on Valley Sports. It's game one of a doubleheader. He has been the stopper in 2021. Wainwright and the Cardinals coming up next. Is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It was a cloudy day, we were told, in Atlanta. Rained all day yesterday, and it looks like the sun is peeking a bit through the clouds. It's cooled it off down in Dixie, 77 degrees, 81% humidity, and it's game one of a doubleheader from Truist Park. With Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin, Tommy Edman at the top of the Cardinal lineup, and then Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Tyler O'Neill, Yadier Molina, Edmundo Sosa, Paul DeYoung, and Adam Wainwright. The Cardinals facing a right-hander, Bryce Wilson, slow start, but pitching much better as of late.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff. He's still young pitcher. He's only been around a few years, 23 years old. See right here is Hyundai pitch arsenal. Basically the normal stuff. Average fastball around 93 miles an hour. Probably a little sneaky, so you got to be a little bit careful of that if you're in the starting lineup today. Change up. You kind of start to eliminate some of that other stuff in there. If you're a left-hander, you kind of eliminate maybe the breaking ball or actually the slider. If you're a right-hander, you can eliminate the changeup a little bit and sometimes the breaking ball. But kind of just really got to get after the fastball.
And
Nothing's changed.
First pitch is taken for a ball.
Sorry about that.
This month continues to be disappointing from the offensive end of things. Last 7 games, Cardinals averaging just over a run per game. So 10 runs total and the average of 170. So you can pitch as much as you want and have those quality starts, which they have gotten for the most part. But you got to get some offense going too.
Yeah, and you know what? There's going to be times during the course of the year that you're going to struggle. As you see, nice job right here, Tommy Edman getting the leadoff base hit. But you're going to struggle, and then there's going to be times when you're tired, and then you're just going to have to rewind back and figure out why things are the way they are. So right there, just the fastball up in the zone. This is what you're going to have right here too. This is a day you have to take advantage. If you're only going to see 93, occasionally 94, 95 with the straight fastball, a lot of four-seamers, you're going to have to get after it, the fastball. And they've struggled on the fastball as of late. But like I said, as a team, you have to figure out why. Why are we struggling? Why are we tired? Are we tired? What are we doing differently? Why are we not scoring runs? Small ball, are we taking too many swings? Are we not getting enough swings because of travel? What is it?
It's interesting, the fastball, the Cardinals 49%
swing percentage, 5th highest. Their chase percentage on that pitch, 4th highest. Whiff percentage, 9th highest.
I don't understand that, because to me, if someone's throwing a fastball, I'm swinging at it. And especially when you're struggling, I think that players get to where they get a little indecisive and they're trying to be a little too perfect. And just my advice to all, even the young kids, is you see a fastball, be ready to hit it. And there's no reason to take pitches when you're struggling, especially if you get a fastball to hit.
Here's a 1-1. And Carlson sends a fly ball into center field. Ender Inciarte. He's been on the bench the first couple of games. Makes the catch. Back to first goes Tommy Edman. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Almonte in left, Inciarte in center, Acuna Jr. in right. Riley, Swanson, Albies, and Freeman on the infield, and William Contreras is behind the plate. Here's Paul Goldschmidt. Runner goes, and a stolen base for Tommy Edman. That's one way to generate some offense.
You have to. And then, the first 2 games, 1 run, you get a rain out. You guys sit back and start thinking about what's going on. Great job right there. Great jump. Not even close. And you start to have to, even as the coaching staff, you have to, all of a sudden, you get a day off where things aren't going so fast, and you kind of sit back and think, okay, what can we do differently? What are we not doing? Well, there you go. That's a start.
So runner in scoring position. Pitch on the inside corner, 1-1. Edman's 13th stolen base, tied for 2nd in the National League. And the league leader in the senior circuit is in right field. That's Ronald Acuna Jr. Picked up his 15th the other night. The 1-1 pitch to Goldie.
A little changeup right there, right at the bottom of the zone. You were talking about the fastball stat. I thought that 49% of swinging at a fastball was low. And you said it was the 5th highest in baseball. That's kind of shocking, because we talk a lot about guys not swinging at it.
That's driven out to deep center. Inciarte with the catch, and Tommy Edman not tagging up. What do you think? Should he be at second and tagging up on that play? Because if it gets down, he scores anyway.
Yeah, I think that, the book is here that you don't tag on this play, because you go halfway, and then when the play is made for 2 outs, the book says, if you're going by the book, like if you're gambling in Vegas, you don't tag, because with 2 outs, you're going to score on a base hit anyway. So that's playing it by the book. Now, there's other things that can be read where maybe he couldn't tell if that was getting over the head or not. Nice play by Inciarte, but if you get a chance to go back and tag in, you can get to third with a struggling offense. Take advantage if you can, but you can't always do what we're watching on TV. It just doesn't go as planned all the time. So he did the right thing.
It's been over a week since we saw the last hit for Nolan Arenado. That was in the Saturday game at Wrigley, a home run. He is hitless in his last 20, second longest active streak in baseball, behind Hunter Dozier and Nick Mason, for their last 21. And he hammers that out to deep left. That's how you snap the 0 for 20. 2-0 Cardinals. Arenado, his 13th home run. 2-0 St. Louis.
Well, you know my philosophy on when you struggle, right? What is it? You stop hitting. You take a day off. You back off. As a player, as an individual, that's the way to kind of refresh yourself. So maybe yesterday helped. Also, what else helps? A 93-mile-an-hour forcing fastball right down the middle. And I almost said he looked uncomfortable a little bit at the beginning of that at bat, because you could see he didn't really know where his front foot wanted to be. But the thing I like is he changed it and closed up a little bit. What I noticed the last couple of days watching from home was he was pulling off some pitches that he normally doesn't pull off, and then start chasing a lot of breaking balls.
That was your Nissan drive of the game. Home run number 248 for Nolan Arenado. Boy, did the Cardinals and their third baseman need that.
Well, I'll tell you what, the best probably thing that can happen with this offense right now was a rain out yesterday, no hitting, and then a day game with no hitting outside today. So guys won't take as many swings. Guys won't swing for the fences. They won't try to do too much. And so it's basically like 2 days off, and that could be the best thing you ever ask for an offense that struggles.
There's Tyler O'Neill.
Little change up right there.
And it's a foul ball. That was the Cardinals' first hit with a runner in scoring position since Molina's walk-off Wednesday afternoon. So not only do you get the big hit, but it happens early, and it just gets the pressure off.
Yeah, it's almost like the reverse of oh, here we go again. Now You're like, hey, here we go. Let's go. We can do this.
The 1-2 pitch and a elevated fastball in the first strikeout, and it's Tyler O'Neill. Snaps it 0 for 20. Nolan Arenado, 2-0. Tommy Edman, the single to right, brought in on the home run hit by Nolan Arenado. 2-0 Cardinals. Remember, this is a 7-inning game, 7-inning doubleheaders. And the Cardinals turn to Adam Wainwright. We think of Lou Brock, best trade in Cardinals history, and right there with him is this guy. We talked about it in the open. Adam Wainwright, Ray King, Jason Marquis. And all three of those guys were key contributors for the Cardinals. St. Louis gave up J.D. Drew, Eli Morelos, December 13th of 2003. Here we are in 2021. Adam's still going. Our Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Yeah, and you can see right here, he's kind of scrapped the changeup a little bit. And the four-seamer he uses every now and then to keep guys off balance as far as a sinker running in on righties. He'll try to throw it in there and keep it straight for a strikeout once in a while. But pretty much what you see is what you get. He's going to have some velocity some days, and some days he's going to really have to pitch. But still the key for him is the breaking ball, and the breaking ball down at the feet of Yadi Molina.
There's Acuna. And a pitch off the plate. Freeman to follow, then Albies, Almonte, Riley, Swanson, Contreras, Inciarte, and Wilson. Lined into the shift, taken there by DeYoung, and the first out. Such a key, too, when you grab a 2-0 lead. We're not talking about the middle of the game, but with the way things have gone for the Cardinals, you always hear about that shutdown inning. They need that here.
Well, especially with this lineup, and you're right. You got Acuna, Freeman, Albies, and you still have Almonte, Swanson down there. Yeah, you want to get a nice 1-2-3 inning. Keep these three guys off base, especially this guy right here. This guy's a double machine.
And he's starting to get hot. He's 4 for 9 in the series, 8-game hitting streak, 3 homers, and he's driven in 8 during these 8 games that he's been on base.
Well, you know what that means. You better be careful, because he's one of those guys that we see it all the time. First game in, he hadn't swung the bat well, and he starts getting hot and hotter and hotter. And what we always say is stay away from this one guy. Well, he was already hot coming into this, so hopefully the opposite of the Cardinals offense is that day off might take Freddie Freeman a day or two to catch back up.
The 2-0 pitch by Waino.
And by the way, I think these guys are pretty good friends too, Waino and Freddie Freeman. So it'd be a little interesting coming back to face some of your guys that you came up with, and always nice to come home.
Freddie Freeman is top 5 in OPS all time in Braves history. Number 1, no surprise, Hank Aaron. Doesn't get the call. Then Chipper Jones, Eddie Matthews, Wally Berger, Freddie Freeman, all-time 889 OPS.
I think Freddie Freeman is a really good player. I don't think that we get enough of Freddie Freeman. I think he might be one of the more underrated players in this era right now. And this guy can play. By the way, and I forgot about this, born and raised in right where I grew up in Orange County, Villa Park.
And a free agent to be. So you wonder if, some of those L.A. teams are looking at Freeman if he hits the market.
El Medina, California, El Medina High School. That's right in my back door.
Swing and a miss. He comes back to get him, and a strikeout for Wainwright.
But I go back to still, I think this guy is one of the most underrated players as far as what we get to see day in and day out. Nice slider right there by Adam. A little tight. He's got that sometimes slider, sometimes cutter. You can see right there is more of a little bit of a cutter. Didn't really have the dot, and that's the best thing with Adam. He just can make up pitches as he goes, and get some of these good left-handed hitters. They'll see the dot on that slider quicker, and they won't swing. And that more of a cutter where you see the four-seamer where it just kind of runs at the end and Good hitters won't recognize it as fast.
Ozzie Albies' long home run the other night against Carlos Martinez, his 10th of the season. And a ground ball taken easily by Paul Goldschmidt. 1 inning in the books on this Father's Day. 2-0 our score. Al Raboski, who's on our games pre and post today, and my partner Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. Keep Dad in the game. So far, $488,000 has been raised in the challenge, and you can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org.
Danny, happy Father's Day to you,
Thank
too.
you, sir.
Got your hands full this weekend, I'm pretty certain.
Oh, yeah. Every weekend. Just like you. Fouled back, strike 1 on Yadier Molina. Hunter Windelstad is the crew chief behind the plate. David Arrieta is at first. Todd Titchener at second. John Lipka is down at third. And it's 0-2. Cardinals a 2-run homer from Nolan Arenado in the first inning. The 0-2 pitch. Next base hit. Molina will tie Johnny Bench, 8th place in career hits by a catcher with 2,048. And the 0-2 pulled fair. Taken there by Riley.
Does that ball stay fair right there?
It somehow stayed fair.
Look at him. That's, to be honest with you, watching from this angle right here, this ball right here, and Albie's ball to first base, I thought both from the TV camera angle, they were both going foul. And this ball just stayed straight right down the line. And that's, I guess, what you call staying inside the ball right there. Not exactly how he had it drawn up, but nonetheless, it's an out.
We're in our studios here in St. Louis. Cardinals in Atlanta. They'll continue their road trip after an off day tomorrow in Detroit, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then come home.
Every time I hear the word Detroit, that's my first game ever, but I just remember that old stadium, how awesome it was.
Tiger Stadium.
Gosh, it was just so cool to see.
Now Comerica Park.
First game ever, Tiger Stadium. Got off the plane in a cab before Uber, straight to the ballpark and straight in the lineup. All the way from Vancouver.
The strikeout of Sosa, number 2 for Wilson. Help Nolan Arenado and Yadier Molina stay at the top in the 2021 Google MLB All-Star Ballot. Vote daily at MLB.com/vote and on Google by searching for their names and send them to Colorado. Paul DeYoung was a guest of Jim Hayes on the pregame show. Nice visit. And sends a fly ball into right field. Acuna. And a 1-2-3. We move to the home half of the second inning. 2-0 St. Louis. Is for the bottom of the second. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Throughout his career, Waino has been the definition of a stopper. He's gotten wins to stop 5-game losing streaks. He's gotten wins to stop 4-game losing streaks. He's done it numerous times. Waino didn't get a win in his last outing against the Marlins, but he pitched well enough to help the Cards snap a 6-game losing streak. Mike Schilt told me it's great to have an anchor like Waino. It's about consistency. You kind of know what you're going to get. Typically good. He throws strikes. He commands his own. And you know he's going to bring Uncle Charlie. Dan Schilt told me Waino's a good guy to have pitching in the first game of a twin bill.
Well, you set the tone. 8th career start in a doubleheader. Love to say this. He's a perfect 7-0 in his 7 career doubleheader starts. 2 relief appearances, returning from injury in 2015. Kim, who goes in game 2, and this is Almonte, a .87 ERA in his 4 career doubleheader starts over his 2 years in Major League Baseball. I think, how could you have that many in a year and a half? Well, last year was just a little different.
A little different.
Almonte here, then Riley and Swanson. Such a crazy year, and the Cardinals somehow, some way battled through and got into postseason play. The 2-0 pitch. Not only are the Braves, by the way, playing a doubleheader and playing in Sunday Night Baseball tonight, they go to New York and play a doubleheader tomorrow.
That's where the game stops becoming fun and turns into a job right there. That is a tough turnaround.
So you probably get in, depending on the game, 3 or 4 in the morning, and their game tomorrow is at 5:30, something like that, 6 o'clock.
Only saving grace is the 7 innings.
Yep.
The only saving grace for the travel time, for the manager, for the pitching staff, is the 7 innings. A little curveball right here.
Look at those swings that he gets against that breaking ball.
Well, that's that. He has that breaking ball that sometimes when he throws it, like we talked about for his key, the ball down, it has short arm fastball, so it kind of can jump on you, even though some days it's only 90, 91. And that breaking ball pops out of his hand, but it stops. And I've faced him. And so a lefty, you're like, oh, breaking ball, I'm going to hit this. And then all of a sudden it just doesn't get there, like that right there. You can see the little lunge. And if you don't face him a lot, and I think for some reason it's tougher on lefties than it is on righties, because I think the ball stays up a little bit more because he has to aim it a little bit higher at the player. He can go around the plate to the left-hander and seems to give the lefties that much more trouble, especially if you don't face him a lot.
3-2, pulled foul. What about the fact that so many guys are throwing so hard too, and you have a guy like Wainwright that can cut it, sink it, spot it, and he's, 91, 92 with that breaking ball.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about that is, and what you saw with maybe the at bat with Yadier Molina, is you get comfortable when you don't see the velocity, and so you take for granted sometimes. But with the thing that Adam does is he's not going to just give you fastballs to hit. He's going to, like you said, sink, cut. He's mad at himself right there. He figured he could throw that pitch for a strike, especially because he had Almonte all out in front of every breaking ball.
Batter will be Austin Riley, and let's turn to Jim Edmonds, Toyota key to the game.
Well, it's just Adam Wainwright being the stopper again for like the losing streak and the struggles, and he's done it before. It seems like he's the guy we always go after, and I don't know if it's timing, if it's fate, what is it, but he seems to be the guy at the front every time there's a little bit of a losing streak. And so be the guy again. This is the guy that can do it.
So leadoff walk, and now Austin Riley. He's 2 for 2 with a double against Wainwright. Adam, in his career, following a Cardinal loss, I think this is amazing. He's 83-45 following a loss.
I'm actually surprised he's got 40 losses. To be honest with you, because think about just the years that you and I have been working together. It seems like we just said he's always the guy who comes to play and stops that losing streak.
So we're talking about velocity on non-fastballs. His velocity is 75 miles per hour. That is slowest in baseball. And you see some uncomfortable swings against Wainwright, guys out in front, that kind of thing.
I think the thing for Adam too is he's one of those guys, like I said, is he's so tall and you don't get a lot of arm from him. You get a short arm, quick release. I think that's what made him so devastating as a closer, is he had the velocity and he had the short arm, and the ball got on you in a hurry. You can see probably off speed right here. Yadi alerting the third baseman.
From his knees. Oh, he got him. What a throw. Yadier Molina from his knees.
Is there anyone better? Really?
Nobody. Still
doing it. That's the second time, this week from his knees.
About that. That's a non-fastball. Wainwright, the slowest velocity non-fastballs, and still gets him from his knees.
What I love is, well, you can't see it again, but you were watching it. The momentum he creates with his body allows him to not have to stand up. And he knows that the guy's running, everything is processing so fast, and if the ball's down, it's quicker to get rid of it. But what he does do is he gets his momentum going towards second as if he was going to stand up anyways, and then he's laying flat on his face when the ball's delivered to second base.
Mentioned it earlier this week when the Cardinals were at home.
Great jump,
Yachty
by the way.
Is the best right now in caught stealing still
You got to tag
in baseball.
I'm tagging him again, by the way. Like this right here. Guys, and everyone watching at home, don't take for granted.
Lined into right, and the catch made by Tommy Edman. So Yadier Molina now has thrown out 11 of 22 this year. In his career, 361 of 891. That's 40%, and he's at 50% for the season. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. O'Neill, Carlson, Edman in the outfield. Arenado, DeYoung, Sosa, Goldie on the infield. Molina behind the plate.
No, still the best. And I'm telling you right now, like just kind of even flipping through social media, you see he'll even once in a while brag upon himself. The other day, I think he had a 1.89 pop time from his knees on a ball that skipped to him, and which is insane. Think about that. Breaking ball, slider, short hopped it, caught it, and let it go, and got it to second base in less than 2 seconds. And I guarantee you that was right there, too.
Dansby Swanson chops it foul, hitting .273 at home. Former #1 overall pick. It's got to be nice for Mike Schilt to have that guy behind the plate and this guy on the mound.
1.89.
Incredible.
Right there. 1.98 seconds to get that ball to second base.
Second strikeout for Adam Wainwright. Great job by Yachty. Waino coming up. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. And by National Car Rental. Go with the official partner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Go national and go like a pro. Clouds overhead at Truist Park. We're in our studios at Valley Sports here in St. Louis. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Cardinals with a 2-0 lead on a 2-run homer by Nolan Arenado that snapped an 0 for 20 for him. It'll be Adam Wainwright, Tommy Edman, and Dylan Carlson. Game 1 of 2. Game 2 tonight will be on ESPN. Then an off day for the Cardinals in Detroit. We'll be back with you Tuesday night. First pitch to Waino. Put in play slowly towards second. Ozzie Albies. One away. Help Cardinals Care raise funds to benefit children in the community. Purchase a 50-50 raffle ticket. That's each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday home game like next weekend. One lucky winner will win 50% of the pot each game, and you must be 18 in the state of Missouri at time of purchase. Visit cardinals.com/5050 for tickets. Now Tommy Edman. Started the ball game off with a single to right, stolen base, and scored on the home run hit by Nolan Arenado. Hit out of play, 0-2.
I think I'm noticing watching Bryce Wilson throw is a changeup is not very much different than the fastball, and that's a little dangerous for a pitcher, not for the hitter. You miss with this changeup right here. Here's another one.
Third strikeout.
And I'm not a firm believer of has to be a certain mile an hour, right? They say 8 to 10 miles an hour, and I, you know, sometimes if you don't throw that hard, maybe a little bit closer gives you like the BP fastball effect. Where, and I didn't realize this too, talking with Dave Duncan in the past, they as a pitching coach, want the changeup put in play. I thought it was more of a swing and miss pitch. I never realized that when I was a player, but you know. 88, 89, and 93 are so close. Maybe he's using that as a ground ball pitch and not just a swing and miss pitch.
Carlson, base hit into left. How about this? Our Kia player profile brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Highest on base percentage. We're talking about Cardinal rookies, the age of 22 or younger. And what a list that Dylan Carlson is a part of. Hornsby, Stan the Man, Albert Pujols, and Dylan Carlson.
And I'll tell you what, it's been going down as of late, and I think it's going to go back up in that at least 350 range as the season progresses, and maybe even a little higher. That's a thing that he's going to be very good at, is his on-base percentage over the years, because he's going to get his walks, and you know he's going to get his hits.
That's what I was thinking when, you know, sometimes teams, you just need to shake it up with a lineup. I was thinking potentially, why not Dylan Carlson at the top? Gets his walks, gets hit by pitches, some base hits. Something to think about maybe. Goldschmidt hit one to the track first time up, and it's 0-2.
Well, the things you like to see out of a team, especially struggling, hitting the ball the other way, being aggressive, staying on the ball. Now, if you're pulling off on a pitch, pulling off on fastballs, you're going to have an issue as a player. If you're pulling off on fastballs as a team, you're going to have a massive issue, and that's kind of seems to be the common denominator right now. Taking a lot of fastballs, especially early in the count. We're almost taking 70% fastballs. 0-0 first pitch of the account. The rest of the league is hitting over 400 on a 0-0 count.
And a diving stop at third by Riley to rob Goldschmidt, but they throw it away. Tommy Edman racing to third. And Pop Warner will hold him up, or rather, excuse me, Dylan Carlson to third. After the throwing error by Austin Riley.
Take advantage. Get a chance right here. But what I was saying is the league is hitting over 400 in the first pitch of the at-bat. As you take a look right here, it's just nice play. Maybe a little sweat and a little dirt.
Probably had a little bit more time, too, than he thought.
Got a handful of dirt. Probably nice and sweaty and muddy. And you can look at the ball. One side of the ball is just all black. But like I said, the league is hitting 400 in the first pitch. And as a group, the St. Louis Cardinals are taking 70% of first pitch. Not even just strikes, just in general. And that can be an issue, you know, not being aggressive enough and catching yourself, you know, getting behind a majority of those times. It's a big difference in 0-0 fastball, and then all of a sudden you're like 0-1, 1-0. Even 1-0, you still have to think, okay, what is he going to do? Is this the guy who's going to trick me, or is this guy who's going to come after me?
Arenado homered his first time up.
Maybe trying again.
That was a swing.
That was the swing. Just didn't see the breaking ball quick enough. But I like it, though. He's being aggressive. He hears us talking. He's got his earpiece in. He's watching the game. You know, he's listening. Sees the same stats we see. I had to dig for that one, by the way. Really dig. 70% of first pitch takes.
And the 0-1 pitch now to Nolan Arenado, taken high.
You know, and that's kind of a one-sided stat too, because there is times when you're going to face a guy where you want to be more patient. You want the guy to take, you know, you want to see as many pitches as possible. But you know, when the stats say that the league's hitting 400,
sure.
I mean, come on, let's get after it. Can't always make guys go deep.
Runners at second and third. The pick there by Contreras. Back in the first inning, StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and a no-doubter for Nolan, snapping an 0 for 20, 397 feet. The distance of the home run put the Cardinals on the board. Little fist pump, almost like his way of saying, "Hey, let's go."
Exactly.
Two-one pitch. Center field. Inciarte under it. Cardinals will strand a pair. And we head to the bottom of the third. Cardinals on top. It's 2-0. Cam from Truist Park in Atlanta, home to the Braves. Cardinals with a lead of 2-0. Nolan Arenado, a first inning home run. There's Brian Snitker, long time in the minor leagues. You got Mike Schilt on the other side, long time in the minor leagues, and now getting a shot. And both guys having success with their clubs recent years. Kind of mirror images of each other the way this season has gone. High expectations, hovering around 500, going a little up and down.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see a team. You know, this team was kind of like ho-hum, you know, in the winter. We're not doing anything. You hear the sea of red. What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden you get Arenado, and now you're right in the mix of being one of the better teams in the league, and expected to play like that, and played pretty well. And spring training was really, I think, successful. And all of a sudden, a little lull. You know, it's going to happen. But what are they going to do to fight their way out of it? And that's what's going to be interesting to watch.
And the 0-2 pitch. Spotted it on the outside corner with 2 strikes. Get the weak contact taken there by Sosa. Now it's time for our Liberty Mutual Insurance Field Coverage Franchise Ranks all time for Adam Wainwright. There's no doubt he is headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. 4th in starts, 3rd in wins, 6th in ERA, and 2nd in strikeouts. So you think about the great deals in Cardinals history, and obviously this right there with Lou Brock, Adam Wainwright.
I would love to see him get to 200 wins. It'd be awesome. I can't believe 340 starts.
Ozzie Smith for Gary Templeton. Big Mac was a deal that changed the fortunes of this franchise. Edmonds for Kent Bottenfield and Adam Kennedy. That's a pretty darn good deal. John Sherholt said at the time that Adam is our #1 pitching prospect. It's tough trading him, but under the circumstances, we had no choice. And the idea was they get a Georgia boy coming back in J.D. Drew. Sign him long term. Well, played 1 year and left. And then you get those numbers from Wainwright. Walt Jocketty and John Mozeliak, the brain trust at the time, from the Cardinals side of things. Walt said we see Adam as a top of the rotation guy in a couple of years. Well, it panned out. Ooh, doesn't get the call.
Pitch. There's that 4-seamer we talked about. Didn't run back. That's the one time that it hurts him. It didn't run back over the plate. Good pitch right here. I was just down in Florida and ran into a man from Valdosta, Florida. Said he sees JD and his brother all the time. I haven't talked to JD.
Georgia.
Yeah, Valdosta, Georgia. I haven't talked to him in a while, and I said, "How's he doing?" And he said, "Chasing his kids around." That was the last thing I ever heard. Thought I would hear out of JD.
What a talent, man.
Oh my gosh. Steven too. Steven had some.
That's right.
JD told me when Steven was in high school that he was ahead of JD as far as years and wisdom in baseball.
I remember
Steven used to travel with us all the time.
Steven was on the team flights, and Jose Oquendo would be working with him.
I don't think I was going to say Steven isn't Steven without Jose Oquendo, and he deserves. There's a lot of guys around the world that deserve a lot of credit for guys being in the big leagues, and I'll tell you what, if Jose Oquendo isn't right there at the top of that list for Steven Drew, I don't know if anyone is.
I heard from Nolan Gorman. I did a Zoom with Nolan in the offseason with he and Matthew Liberatore for Cardinals Care. And Nolan said, you wouldn't believe, as Bryce Wilson squares to bunt, pushed it foul. So Jose was at the alternate site last year, and he said, look, it was tough not having the games. You tried to have the competition as much as you could, setting up, live BP and live games and all that kind of stuff. He said, but I went through a fielder's school with Jose Oquendo. He said it was the best instruction. He said, and I speak for everybody that was an infielder down there. He said it was just incredible what I was taught. Things I'd never thought about. Good breaking ball, and that is strike 2.
I'll tell you what, I learned a lot from just listening to him, and I would go to him when I wasn't throwing the ball well or when things weren't going right, or you know, he had played so long and so much wisdom, and even talked to him about hitting, base running. He's just so smart. He's one of those guys, like you talk about a savant. He's one of those guys. He gets it from every angle. And to listen to how he taught these infielders the littlest things, I listened enough to take that to my son and to, you know, and home with me to learn and teach people. But it just is amazing to listen to someone who's so smart at what they do.
I loved it all
best
these years.
I've ever heard, coaching wise. Just the little things.
When we were on the road, I'd get to the ballpark extremely early. Jose would be there, and I would pick his brain. I loved it. Strike out as Wilson can't get the bunt down.
Never in a bad mood, and always ready to
work.
Ready to do some baseball. I mean, he was amazing.
Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a soft liner his first time up to short. Braves swing at the first pitch of an at-bat 37% of the time. Most often in baseball, only one of the first 9 batters swung at the first pitch first time through. Ronald Acuna Jr., the combination of speed and power, leads the National League in stolen bases.
Another one of those guys, maybe because he's in Atlanta. And you hear of him. He's a good player. But does anyone know that he's that kind of a player? He's one of only 2 players ever in baseball history. 75 homers and 75 steals in the first 375 games. Another one, the other guy might want to be the best athlete of all times, Eric Davis. And his career took off when he first got to the big leagues. Eric Davis. That's saying something. Speed and power.
Eric Davis won a championship with the Reds in 1990, and then we saw him in St. Louis at the tail end of his career.
It was still awesome to be around and watch play, and still could do it at the late 30s, if not almost 40 at that time, wasn't he?
And Sean Dunston as
well. Another great guy. Best team I ever played on. Most fun I ever had. Most I ever learned. 2000.
2-1 pitch to Acuna as Molina sets up in. Adam hits a spot. Not much you can do with that pitch.
No. Other than line it foul.
Well, Friday night, Acuna became just the 2nd player in the Braves' history to walk multiple times and be hit multiple times in the same game. Bob Horner was the first to do it, and he did that back in 1982 when the Braves, under Joe Torre, went to postseason play and then were eliminated by the Cardinals. The 2-2 pitch, curveball, and a swing and a miss, a pair of strikeouts, and 4 today for Adam Wainwright. We move to the 4th, 2-0. At the ballpark, and that'll be coming up on the 25th and the 26th. The Cardinals and the Pirates, cardinals.com/promotions. Very good chance that we may see crowds well into the 30,000s coming up at Busch Stadium. That'll be great.
See a packed house.
Let's get it.
I'm excited.
Me too. Here's Tyler O'Neill.
By the way, did you see the other day San Diego?
Place was going bananas.
Their first day was full, and they had a walk-off homer.
It's great.
And I saw Mark Sweeney's video that he took, and it was insane. It looked like they just won the World Series.
That was great.
That gave me goosebumps, and that's what I cannot wait for when I get to work, when we get our packed house coming up soon.
And the 0-1 pitch. Right now, Tyler O'Neill highest on the club in exit velocity, distance on balls hit and play and the average distance of home runs, and what a difference from 2020. You know, remember, this was a guy that at the very end of the season against the Padres, they did not use him as a pinch hitter, and now you're looking at him, and this is the player that we thought he could become. Are there going to be ups and downs? Absolutely. But we've seen some massive improvement from Tyler O'Neill.
Huge strides, especially staying on the ball, going the other way. And the thing that, as a player, that he has become now is you're going to have to weather the storm when guys figure out, okay, he's made the adjustments, let's do this. You can't revert back to your old ways of they're trying to pitch me in, I got to start pulling the ball, I got to do this. You got to stay within your stuff and stay on the ball.
Look at that. Absolute rocket off his bat down into the corner. Extra bases for Tyler O'Neill. And we didn't even mention the sprint speed. He can absolutely fly. We're going to just drop the barrel here, Jimmy, and turn on that pitch.
And then this is the thing that he'll always be able to do because he's so quick with the short swing and change up down and in. And normally can't keep this ball fair, but the fact that he stays inside the ball now, a lot better than he was, he keeps that ball fair. And what this does right here, too, is it gives you a guy on second base now with Yachty being the player that he is, unselfish. Give him a chance to maybe move the guy over, try to drive the ball into right center. You try to get the hit, but you try to advance the runner at the same time. Maybe try to get another run across the board.
Up the middle, base hit. O'Neill coming home. And he will score easily on this single by Yadier Molina. 3-0 Cardinals as Yachty drives in his 30th. The BJC Healthcare difference maker. Run batted in, number 30 for Yadier Molina.
That's a good job of hitting right there. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say a bad job of pitching, because that is a cutter slider out over the plate to a guy who's trying to hit the ball up the middle the other way. You basically just said, here, do your job. And he did it. So thank you very much. I just feel like if I'm just watching that, and when I watch some of these relievers pitch in close games, I feel like the game has just totally changed. The philosophy of like, hey, this guy's trying to hit a ball the other way, let's pitch him in. And hey, this guy's trying to win the game with a homer, let's pitch him away. That's gone. They're just like, there's no thought process anymore. There's no like, hey, there's a man on first, let's get some ground ball double play balls here. It's just like splitter, fastball, slider up, trying to get the strikeout. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me right there. Why you would throw a ball down and away, breaking away from a right-handed hitter who's trying to hit the ball the other way. Kind of like the lost art of baseball.
And that is hit out of play by Sosa. And there's 2 strikes. He struck out back in the second inning. 3-0 our score. Inning started with Tyler O'Neill and a double. 27 of his 50 hits have gone for extra bases for Tyler O'Neill. Sosa strikes out for the second time. And Yadier Molina, by the way, has tied Johnny Bench 8th all-time in hits among catchers with 2,048. Great article in Cardinals magazine, this latest edition. Yachty is on the cover, but they went and got Johnny Bench for some quotes.
Wow.
And Johnny said there is no doubt, no argument, he is first ballot Hall of Famer, coming from one of the game's greatest catchers, if not the best. Really interesting article, and get that Cardinals magazine. It's good stuff. Fastball. Paul DeYoung fly to right field. His first time up. 0-2. And it's hit down the right field line and out of play.
You can just see, haven't been doing games with you for a week, you can just see some of the guys a little out front, you know, right there. Paulie DeYoung trying to hit the ball the other way, but the contact is out in front of his body, just like the fly ball to right field. You know, guys get in a little scuffle and try to get out in front of pitches instead of letting the ball travel, and that's where you start to get a little funky. It's a little bit better right there.
To Inciarte for out number 2. While we have a moment, quick word from Ryan Kelly.
Baseball's back, and we couldn't be more excited. Mortgage interest rates are on the rise, but we're still locking rates in the 2s. Start saving now and apply online. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
So 2 outs and runner at first for Adam Wainwright, who grounded out to second first time up. And a strike. So the Cardinals with a 3-0 lead. 2-run homer hit by Nolan Arenado in the first. And an RBI single to center to score Tyler O'Neill off the bat of Molina here in the fourth. Fastball and a strike. Generally speaking, I haven't heard much complaint about the 7-inning doubleheaders. Fans, players, everybody.
Oh, good swing. Yeah, I think at the beginning you're like, well, what are we doing here? And then all of a sudden, guys are starting to think, wow, it's a lot better. We don't have to play so long in the heat, and the pitching doesn't get so beat up, and
to
games
me,
aren't
that
as
is
long on TV.
That's a key. Is that
pitching staff for sure?
You got it.
I think when you have so many doubleheaders, you were going to have to, like we talked about last year, you're going to have to add another person to the roster. You can't just allow people to get beat up.
From a player's perspective, if I'm an agent and my guy is one of those guys that's on the shuttle going from Memphis to St. Louis, I'm saying, and he's in the big leagues, I'm saying this is a benefit for them, you know, because a lot of times those guys are the guys that you air them out and you got to go get fresh arms. Wainwright hits a fly ball into right.
Yeah, do you want to be that guy that goes 80, 90 pitches and the next day you're down? Or do you want to be the guy that's, you know, in the big leagues and doesn't get the pitch because of it? 3-0.
Tap, Kwang Hun Kim, Cardinals lefty, getting the start tonight in Sunday Night Baseball. And Tuesday, a no decision, but really gutted through that start. He was on the ropes and about midway through that start, but wound up giving the Cardinals 6, and they come back and win the game. The Marlins had runners at second and third, nobody out, 1-0 at the time to score, and you could see that thing going south, and it didn't. And he did not give up a run in that situation. He still, I think you can look, he's dealing with the back issue. He talks about when he's running or at the plate where sometimes it can affect him, but give him credit. He made it through, and Cardinals won that game.
I'll tell you what, just from watching him this year, you can tell he's a little bit of a gamer. Like, you know, even in spring training when he struggled, he went down into the bullpen and then he came back out. A lot of guys would be like, hey, no, I'm good. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself, or I don't want to do this again. I'll just go work off on the side. And he would come back out during the second inning, or, you know, not get through the first or whatever, come back and pitch again. But just when you see him out there, he just tends to, you know, you saw the 5 walks, but only the 3 hits, and you said he didn't give up those runs, got through 6 innings. You get a guy like Adam Wainwright, who now is into the 4th, and a guy like that goes out and gives you 5 and 6 in a doubleheader. You're in a win-win situation with the Cardinals, like especially for the pitching staff and the coaches staff, because you can't ask for anything better.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals and not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Hey, while we got a moment, I'll be at the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum 4:30 on Friday, and then we'll be together.
Yes, me and you.
9 to 11 on Saturday. So if you want to pick up Jimmy's autograph and
9-11.
That's Saturday at the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. And those tickets will go quickly at cardinals.com/museum. Cardinals.com/museum. Can't wait to do that Friday and Saturday.
9-11. Be there on time, because then I am off to coach my son's Little League team, travel ball team, for the very first time ever. I'm going to actually go in the dugout and try to help out.
There's Freddie Freeman. So I'll be there 4:30 on Friday, and then turn around 9-11 with you on Saturday. Looking forward to it. I love the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum.
Great spot. And you know what, Danny? They have one of my gold gloves in there right now.
We're going to talk about that. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Freeman. Well, you got 7 others that you can
I have a
deal with.
hole in my shelf that I just built for my beautiful home. And as soon as I moved in, they were like, hey, can we borrow this? I'm like, of course. Anything for that amazing establishment.
2-1 pitch to Freeman. He's had good numbers against the Cardinals. 324 lifetime against St. Louis. 11 home runs. And ahead in the count here. 3 balls, 1 strike. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for Atlanta. Picks up a base hit. One for 2 today, and the Braves have their first hit of the afternoon.
That was either a really bad camera angle or our right fielder was in a really bad position. I thought maybe we had the shift on in the outfield.
Sometimes you just come flying into our camera view. Well, Freeman, by the way, is the last Braves player to get a hit in a doubleheader. It was the 6th inning of Game 1 against Arizona. Remember, it was Madison Bumgarner who tossed 7 no-hit innings, and there's Albies with a base hit into center field. So back-to-back hits. Freeman to third, and the Braves have something going as the ball gets away, but Waino's there, and runners at the corners and nobody out.
Go on with your story. As you see the little cutter right here that stays on the barrel just a little bit too long.
That was it. They were just struggling here in these doubleheaders offensively.
Tell you what, watching the way we played Freddie Freeman there, Tommy was basically on the track a little bit to pull, and we had the center fielder into left center, and basically giving him, from the way he swings the bat, the right center field gap, and then you make a decent pitch and he hits the ball where you're not expecting it.
Albies has had a good series, 5 for 11 now against Cardinal pitching. The Braves as a team with runners in scoring position this series are 7 for 22. Runners at the corners and nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. Popped up left side and out of play.
This is where, if you're Adam Wainwright, you just want to get an out. You got to stop. You can't worry about the guy at third. You might even just try to get a ground ball here, give up the run, but the out versus the run is more important, especially a 3-run lead, and you're only playing a 7-inning doubleheader. You're talking about maybe just, 3 more times for them to hit. So the outs are really important right now.
Missed in. Almonte at the plate. 2 balls and a strike. First time up, he walked into second, and watch this from his knees on an off-speed pitch. Yadier Molina guns him down. Pretty good jump too.
I thought he had a great jump. I just think that Yadi just threw the ball on the money quickly. And looking back at that replay, he didn't realize that was a breaking ball, and it was up on his glove side, so he had to shift his weight in a hurry and get rid of it.
Popped up. Yadi giving it a look, and it's out of play. That pitch, by the way, was under 75 miles per hour too. So think about that. You couple that with the fact that he had a good jump, even more impressive.
They have all the stats, which like the pop times and all that, but the one thing when you go back through all the little stats, it does not show you the pitcher's time to the plate. So that would have been a nice little thing to see if Adams delivery was a little bit slower than normal, how much time did Yadi actually make up?
The 2-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
You know, it's funny, right? All the stuff we have and all the unnecessary stats we have, but then that one time you think about that, there's some ground to be made up when a pitcher delivers the ball a little bit slower than normal. And
oh, for sure.
Most of the time, they're running on the pitcher. And it doesn't matter what your pop time is, what your time is throwing the ball down to second base. For the best catchers in the league, they're still throwing out 30, 35%. And that's really good. So clearly the pitcher has a lot to do with this.
2-2 outside. Arenado is even with the bag, but basically where you would have the shortstop playing in, now he backs up with the count 3-2, and the Cardinals have a shift on the right side. So ball hit on the right side. It might be Nolan Arenado turning 2.
Something probably he's always wanted to do, right?
He's done
Everybody
it a couple
wants
of
to be a
times.
shortstop. I wanted to be a shortstop, and I was left-handed.
Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. And a run will score, and that's Freeman. And they get the stolen base.
Well, that's what happens when we jinx him, I guess. Had plenty of time. Didn't know he got a good jump. Just threw it straight in the ground. Sometimes you can be too quick. We'll see if his feet get so quick. We're short. See that right there? So as a catcher, when you stand up to throw, when your feet are a little bit quicker than your arm, the ball goes straight in the ground right there. And so if you don't get that normal stride, it's just like a pitcher. If your stride is shorter, then your body starts to come down the hill and you start throwing balls down into the ground, where if you don't have the normal spacing and you try to be too quick, then you end up throwing the ball down in the ground. And it looked like the case right there. It just feet got a little short and his arm just got over the top too fast.
Good cutter.
Even for the best, could still make little mistakes like that, trying to be
Freeman,
too quick.
He was off immediately when Yadi threw it. I'm not sure even if it's a strike at the chest, let's say, to DeYoung, that they get Freddie Freeman at the plate.
Yeah, he had a really good jump. It looked like he was cheating a little bit, just trying to get that run across.
So runner at second, tying run at the plate. The 0-1 pitch. Kept in front, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Funny how the game works, right? As a defense, you're trying to get as many outs as you can and give up that run. And then the offense is trying to score that run just to get on the board to get 1 run closer. So definitely 2 different ways to look at it. But the end all goal, obviously, is to score more runs than the other team. Should be the key to every game.
Luke Jackson was the right-hander getting loose for the Braves in their pen, and a 1-1 pitch to Austin Riley.
You can see Waino just being a little bit, I guess would say picky, maybe a little bit careful. He's only got 62 pitches, but we are only in the 4th inning. But just can see he's kind of going around the strike zone a little bit, trying to get that weak ground ball.
2-1 pitch. Yanked foul. Really does maybe change how you manage this game. I mean, if you're Mike Schilt, you really want the win. You've got fresh arms in Gallegos, Cabrera, certainly Reyes. Really shortens the game because of 7 innings, and now Waino's already given you this ball game.
Yeah, but then
3 1/3.
Then comes into play is, which game do you trust? Do you trust the guy on the mound now, or do you trust the guy on the mound later to get you more innings and to give you a good opportunity to win?
He froze him. Back-to-back Ks, 6 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright. Chevy pitch tracks, and he froze Austin Riley. Last year, when the Braves had a lead 7th inning or later, and we're talking about how these 2 teams are kind of mirror images of each other, they went 35-0. 35-0. Braves have lost 9 games already this year when they were ahead 7th inning or later. That's most in the National League. So both the Braves and the Cardinals bullpens have had issues. And there's a swing and a miss by Dansby Swanson.
Well, it's funny. Every year there's a story, right?
Right.
Whether you're good or bad, and that story ends up playing out. A few years back, one of my first years doing this game with you, Cardinals were amazing at two out base hits with runners in scoring position. And they were hitting breaking balls really well, and that was the story. They were a good breaking ball hitting team that year, and guys threw breaking balls with guys on base. And so that was the story of the year, and that got them over the hump. And you can see the opposite of that. If you don't play well, you give up runs, you don't hold the run teams down, then your bullpen becomes the story. You can see that right now with the Braves. You don't see Hunter Wintelstad miss too many pitches right there like that.
It's a third. Nolan Arenado with the play. Over to Goldie. So back-to-back hits, then back-to-back strikeouts. Braves get on the board, and it's 3-1. Park, and that is Monday, June 28th, Tuesday, June 29th. Purchase of a special theme ticket. Teachers will take home an exclusive teachers-themed Cardinals cap. For more information, visit cardinals.com/theme. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. And today in a shortened game, it comes your way in the fifth. $1,000 donation will be made to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by your Gateway Honda dealers if a Cardinal player hits a home run. Both starters still in this game. Bryce Wilson, first pitch to Tommy Edman, a strike. Edman has singled, stole a base, scored a run back in the first, and struck out in the third. 1 for 2.
This is where you really got to grind out another inning, try to get a run out of this, especially at the top of your lineup. Clearly you grind out every inning if you can, but this would be a good spot with the top of the lineup coming up again with the starting pitcher still in the game.
Edman drops down a bunt, a beauty. Tough play here. No play. His second hit. 2 for 3 today. Love it.
That is a great play and a great bunt. Smart play. Tommy Edman takes his time. Rod Crew used to say, if you bunt the ball right, you're not going to have to run hard. Bunt the ball first, then go. Nice job.
And that's the shortstop, Dansby Swanson. And when you do that, that's going to open up hitting lanes next time up.
Perfect spot for it, though, right there, right? We just talked about how you got to get to a spot to grind out another run. Now you're only up by 2 and shortened game. And so I don't really know if I'm going to give Tommy Edman ever a chance to bunt that easily with this way he runs. And that's just like saying, here, hit it. Here's just go to first.
Team leading 19th multi-hit game. That's his first bunt hit of the year for the Cardinals. Their 5th overall, and that's taken low for a ball.
I mean, when he bunts that ball, Dansby Swanson is not. He's still behind the bag at third base.
No shot.
And in the hole over by the shortstop area, so he's not even close. And if he makes that play, wow! I mean, you just got to tip your cap. That's impossible.
So Tommy, the stolen base back in the first, certainly a threat to steal here. One-0 pitch, not running, and on the outside corner.
Oh, he's clearly, without using my stopwatch, slow to the plate. They must have something, obviously, because the way Tommy's first stolen base was no contest.
One ball and one strike, and the next to Dylan Carlson. Ooh, he unloaded and swung through it. 1-2.
He's about a 1.3, and anytime you get about that 1.3 second time to the plate and up, you're running for sure. And that actually looked a little bit quicker than the first pitch. So if that's his best time, you're going to take a chance.
One-two, and Carlson hits it out to deep right field at the wall, and it's off the bricks at the top. Played perfectly and right by Acuna. It's a double for Dylan Carlson, second and third, and nobody out. Few feet away from a 2-run homer.
This ball is blistered right here, and not really sure. Tommy was just being really careful because this ball doesn't look like it's going to get caught.
He hit it hard, and Acuna played it well.
Rebound.
Yep.
That's where that brick comes into play for the home team.
Josh Tomlin had been throwing in the pen for Brian Snitker. He'll come in 3-1 in the big bats of St. Louis coming up. Been around a long time. Josh Tomlin, many years in Cleveland, now with Atlanta. Chevy Cole to the pen, and he'll come in with runners at second and third. Nobody out. Paul Goldschmidt, and the Cardinals leading 3-1 here in game one of the doubleheader. Top of 5. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Goldschmidt has hit one to the track that was caught, and an infield single. First pitch out to deep right center. Gone! 3-run homer. Goldie on the first pitch he sees in the 5th. Busts it open for St. Louis. 6-1.
Look at that, Danny. Look at that.
$1,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation because of that home run off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt into right center, and Goldie with his 10th of the year, and he now has driven in 37.
Well, you got to like that. You got your two big boys going deep. See a little cutter right there that just didn't really do much, but I think you're.
And that is well hit into right off the bat of Arenado. Extra bases for Nolan Arenado, and a 2-hit day maybe gets him going. He's got a 2-run homer and now a double.
Well, like I said, with Goldie, you kind of play right into his hands. You can see he's trying to stay inside the ball, and then Arenado's been pulling off of everything. He gets a fastball to hit into the seats in the left, and then stays on a breaking ball the other way here. So maybe those 2 days off or a day and a half off are good for these guys, as they definitely needed it.
I'd be very curious what the team did, and I mean this sincerely, what the team did last night. Maybe a team dinner, team get together. You know what I mean? Something to kind of unify them, get them together, and say, hey, this is not a lost season. Let's go.
I'm telling you, though, the days off of hitting will sometimes, and hitting sometimes not only can be just about hitting in general, it's about how you feel as far as your overall health. And if you're feeling tired and weak, you try to do too much, and then you start to move, your head moves, you start swinging a little early, pull off. When you feel nice and strong, you stay compact, you stay on your feet better, and you just take your natural swing that you've had your whole life. And it changes so fast. Just those 2 days, it can give you just a little bit of a break. And talk about it all the time. When you play every day, sometimes it's nice to get the day off before the day off. The 2 days are so much better than one, especially when you're a guy who's out there every day playing, and you just need the rest once in a while. 1 day doesn't really do it.
Still nobody out. 0-2 the count. Tyler O'Neill's doubled today.
Oof.
Wow. And he called that a strike, and O'Neill can't believe it.
He's looking around like, what?
That was high, and that was well off the plate. And Hunter Wendelstedt missed that one.
That was strike 3? That's what he's saying right now. I mean, you're taking this pitch all the way. It's not even close. I mean, it looks close to the TV, but as a hitter, you know that ball's off the plate as soon as it comes out of his hand. I don't know if I've ever seen a reaction like that, though. That was bad.
Yanni with a single back in the 4th inning, and brought in Tyler O'Neill, who had doubled, and that tied him with Johnny Bench in terms of hits, 2,048. All you have to do is look back to as recently as 2019. That team went 36-34 through their first 70 games. The final 92, they were plus 18 down the stretch. There's 92 games left, 70 in the books. Cardinals have been above 500 in the season's final 92 games for 11 consecutive years. They have finished under Mike Schilt in a flourish, and they're going to get healthier here, which is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think that you're right, and you just make adjustments on the fly, right? You figure out who's going to play, who needs more rest. How are we going to get through struggles? Every year, I think, is a challenge for the manager because you're going to get a different personality to each team, and you're going to have to figure that out and how to push those buttons.
Well, if you're Mike Schilt, now you have a 5-run lead. You got Waino with a pitch count that obviously is
favorable,
very favorable, as deep as he goes into games, and it could potentially set up very good for game 2.
And you have a day off tomorrow, correct? Which is nice because then if you have to use guys, you have that extra day again.
That's right. 2-2. Molina, high fly ball. Right field, Acuna with the catch. Tagging up Arenado. Trots into third. Yachty is 1 for 3.
And that's that play you talked about earlier with Tommy Edman not tagging up with 1 out. Sometimes it's right there for you. Sometimes it's not. There's a book that says do it this way. Sometimes you get a different read and you do it the way you want to do it. Neither is wrong, but you better be safe.
Here's Sosa. Foul back, strike 1. 0 for 2 today. Ooh, just foul.
I mean, if you really watch the offense and the guys that are struggling, or even in the first inning or so, you can just see a little leak with the shoulders and the hips, and a couple guys pulling off here and there. And that sometimes can be guys are tired, it's getting hot, and sometimes it's just
Edmundo Sosa with a fly ball into left.
Not being consistent.
Catch made by Almonte. The 3-run blast. Paul Goldschmidt. First pitch by Tomlin out of the pen. And with that, a 6-1 St. Louis lead. Homer, and it's 6-1. We check.
Paul Goldschmidt, a 3-run shot, 6-1 Cards in Atlanta. The Cards offense having a big day. No one's looking to break out more than Paul DeJong. Since returning from a rib fracture, Paul is just 3 for 27, including 0 for 2 today. Paul told me physically I feel fine. I'm just trying to get my timing back. I'm not trying to be overly analytical about it, because sometimes you can just overthink things. I just have to go out, play hard, and remember to let myself enjoy being out there, and it will come around. As for the team struggles, Paul said, we all want to win. No one's happy about this, but we know we have a lot of baseball left. And Danny, Paul said, we just have to start taking care of business. They're doing that today.
All right, 6-1 lead. Thank you, Jimmy. Nothing at 2. William Contreras grounded out to second. First time up. 7, 8, 9 for the Braves.
You can't complain on those pitches right there if you were behind the plate when O'Neill was hitting.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 7 for Adam Wainwright. Plaza Tire Service Pitch Tracks.
This is the breaking ball that he needs to be successful with, and watch what it does. Straight down, and every time you see Yachty's glove down on the ground right there with that breaking ball, he's going to be successful the majority of the time. Now, when Yachty catches that ball up closer by the knee, that's the ball that travels too far, and that's the ball that will get hit.
Ender Inciarte walked his first time up, and that's a strike. But if you're a Braves fan, you do wonder when you see Adam Wainwright on the mound what might have been. And if you go based on Baseball Reference's measurement of WAR, which is wins above replacement, Wainwright to the bag, throw behind him, nice play. Third highest ever, the WAR by a Braves first-round draft pick. Adam Wainwright, 41, only 2 higher. Dale Murphy, 1974. Many believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. And Chipper Jones, who is in the Hall of Fame, number 1 overall pick in 1990. Adrianza will be the pinch hitter with 2 outs here in the bottom of 5. Pretty amazing, though, the career that Adam Wainwright has put together in St. Louis. His 15th start for Adam today against Atlanta. He's 9-4. Cardinals 10-4 when he starts against the Braves. And also what's good to see as it pertains to this year is what he is doing in a road game. His road ERA coming into play was over 8. Sensational at home, 2.66. So big difference. And obviously locked in today. Wow.
Well, I bet he wasn't having too much trouble getting up this morning for this game. Road versus home. You're pitching in Atlanta, place you got drafted, state that you live in, Georgia.
Fly ball, shallow left. O'Neill comes up short. And he's lucky that it caught the back foot on the dive, it looked like.
Well, it definitely hit his foot.
Hey, you don't need that ball to get by you with a 5-run lead.
No, the ball just died out there. Maybe playing a little bit deeper than could have been. The lefty hitting right there, but good effort. Just barely missed it. And yep, you're right. The ball hits his foot, or it's, I don't know if it's a triple, but it's like a young David Justice right there wearing that number in that fight. Look at that face.
Ear flap on that side.
Just look in number 23. Looks just like him. Maybe a different style of hitting, but
does make you wonder if this could be the final time that Adam Wainwright pitches in Atlanta. You never know. 39. Does he want to play next year? Pick off and back in safely.
How many times have we said that in the last 4 years?
A lot.
I'm just not even going to go there anymore. I'm like, you know what? He's probably pitch here again. That's when we start saying that. He'll say, okay, I've had enough.
Cunha has hit a soft liner to short and also struck out. And the 1-0 pitch to Ronald Acuna Jr. in there for a strike. 1-1.
Don't throw that again.
It's Sean Newcomb, lefty, in the pen for the Braves. And the 1-1 pitch to Ronald Acuna. 1-2. Pitch number 80 coming up. The 1-2. Fastball at 91, fouled back. That's a great example there. Fastball right down the pipe. Little late movement, but if you're Acuna, you're thinking cutter, curveball.
Curveball up and in. Got him kind of thinking. Got the cutter away. We swung right through. Look, it didn't have the patience to really wait, looking to get out in front of something. And you're right. Now you're thinking, okay, he's got everything.
Curveball, and he froze him. Strikeout number 8.
Great sequence right there.
8 strikeouts through 5 here in game 1 for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals baseball on Valley Sports Midwest is brought to you by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Braves back to their bullpen. Sean Newcomb, the lefty. 9 games at home. ERA is near 5. Last 3 games, 3 2/3. Couple of hits, 3 walks. Among left-handed pitchers, striking out about 14 per 9, which is 5th highest among lefties in the game. First pitch to DeYoung.
I was going to say,
he throws hard.
Yeah, throws hard. He's had 4 days off, so it could be really hard today, but with maybe a little bit of a lack of command. You never know. It's one of the things you as a hitter you got to pay attention to.
And the 1-0 pitch. Put on the ground by DeYoung. 1 away. And the batter will be Adam Wainwright. StubHub proud to be an official partner of the Cardinals this year. If your plans change, you can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Use their toolkit to see the seat in the house that you may have. So download the app today. StubHub. Wainwright is grounded out to second, flied out to right, 0 for 2. And so far on the mound today, he is through 5 and struck out 8. He's allowed 3 hits and walked 2 and given up a run. Exactly what the Cardinals needed today.
Whew. You're not kidding when it comes to starting pitching right there. It's especially with these 2 games in a row, double headers. Doesn't matter about your days off. You still need your starters to get into the game. And you know what? You need a guy to go out there and be the stopper. It's our key to the game today, which is really got to stop the bleeding of the losing streaks, and then the offense puts it together early for him. So it's a nice day right now for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, the other part too, your offense had to pick it up and do it when Waino is on the mound. Something that has not happened a lot as he draws a walk. Today is only the 4th time in his 14 starts where he's gotten more than 2 runs of support.
Well,
how about that?
And you know what? And to do it with homers by Arenado and Goldschmidt too, especially, it's like these are your big 3, basically your leaders. Whether Waino's not your number 1 anymore, he's still your leader, and then you get your 2 studs on offense to drive in some runs. And this is just what it's all about.
Second time that Goldie and Arenado have homered in the same game this year. Tapped up the third base line and no play.
3 hits today.
3-hit day for Tommy Edman.
Take it however you can get it, because they're not giving him out. That's for sure. They don't hand you hits. I learned that the hard way. This was a great swinging bunt right here, and the thing that makes this all possible is a guy who can fly is always hustling. You know, that third baseman right there is coming to make that play knowing he's got no chance to get the guy running to first.
Dylan Carlson flied to center, singled to left, and then doubled off the wall in right and scored in the 5th. Fastball taken high at 96. Carlson hitting .352 against lefties this year. Hits it the other way, but foul. Splits for the Cardinals center fielder.
All 6 home runs on the road this year.
Fouled back.
That's interesting, don't you think?
Yes. Talking about that on the recent homestand. Last game that Tommy Edman had hits from both sides of the plate was back in the 29th of May against Arizona. Boy, have they fallen on hard times. Holy smokes. That lineup is too good to be, when you say an all-time bad team, and they're on that pace to be that. It's got some names that you look at and you say they shouldn't be losing as much as they are, and yet they are. Paul Goldschmidt on deck. He is homer today.
20 and 52.
Yep.
They're 0 in their last 10.
Bases loaded now.
Ooh. Lost 16 in a row.
Look at what they've done on the road.
I must have blinked and I missed that.
Look at the road mark.
They're 11 and 21 at home and 9 and 31 on the road. Oof. They are 25 games out of the West already. That is not where you want to be. That's going to be a shake 'em up here pretty soon.
May 30th was when they beat the Cardinals. Since that time, they have 1 win. Goldschmidt is homered today. Also an infield hit.
I don't know if I've ever seen a 278 winning percentage. 278. All right, back to the game.
So bases loaded. 1-0 pitch here to Paul Goldschmidt. Rips it into left field, and a base hit. A run will score. Goldie has driven in 4 of the 7 today, and the bases remain loaded for Nolan Arenado.
Somebody needed a couple of afternoons off, huh? Or an afternoon and a half off. It's pretty good swings right here out of Goldie today. Goes the other way twice. It's a missile into the right center field stands, and you give him a pitch inside, and it's a missile to left field.
Season high driven in by Paul for him, 4, and now it's Arenado. He's come out with the bases loaded 4 times this year, 0 for 4 in his career, 5 grand slams. Cardinals 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position today. Nolan got the Cardinals on the board in the first. There's a 2-run homer to snap an 0 for 20. He's also doubled into the corner in right field. 2-hit day. So the 2 big guys doing some damage, and lo and behold, you have a 7-1 lead. That's how it works.
Everyone just looks a little bit fresher.
One ball and 1 strike.
Or would you say more fresh?
Fresher.
Fresher.
Inside, 2-1. From the Cardinals' perspective, you're hoping this is something that jump starts not only the big 2, but maybe the offense and the team as a whole. 2-1 pitch. Little bit low. Doesn't get the call. 3-1, and let's see if Nolan can't put a swing on one here.
I don't know if I remember Hunter Wintelstad struggling, and not badly, but missing pitches the way he has today. Like he's almost looking like he's kind of like second guessing himself at times.
And that'll be a bases loaded walk. And Nolan is driven in 3 now. Bases remain loaded for Tyler O'Neill. And while we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Choices are never a bad thing, especially when they all look so good. Go ahead, take your time, and find the account that's perfect for you at GreatSouthernBank.com.
Tyler O'Neill has struck out twice and a double into the left field corner, and a run scored. does not have a grand slam in his career. 4 for 10 with the bases loaded, 7 runs batted in. Crowd today, we are told, is 33,781 at Truist Park. 33781. First pitch hit out of play. It's the Cardinals' 3rd walk this season with the bases loaded. 0-1 on Tyler O'Neill.
I like that first swing he just took right there. It's showing you that he's staying with his plan.
It's a high fly ball into right. Acuna back to make the catch on the track. Dylan Carlson tags up. Runner from second tagging up to third. And that makes it a 9-1 St. Louis lead.
Well, and you can just take a look at that swing. That just goes to show you when things are going good how easy it is to drive in that run for third base with less than 2 outs, because that is a no effort swing. I talk about it all the time. If you just try to hit the fastball up the middle or the other way and you get a breaking ball to put in play early, hit it in the air, and look how that ball flies deep enough to get the run in, and that's all you're trying to do. Perfect world, grand slam, great, base hit, whatever. But when you really need to drive in the run, that's what you need to do, is just hit the ball the other way in the air and let the runner cruise on home.
Strike 1 to Yadier Molina. RBI single back in the 4th to drive in Tyler O'Neill. It tied him with Johnny Bench on the all-time hit list. Popped up into shallow center. Inciarte makes the catch. Cardinals strand a pair, but they add to their lead. 12-hit attack, and it's 9-1. The Cardinals wrap up their series in Atlanta. Game 1 of a doubleheader, and it's 9-1. Wainwright is through 5. He has struck out 8. Tommy Edman, 3 hits. Goldschmidt, 3-run homer, 3 hits. He's driven in 4. Bryce Wilson pitched into the 5th, was taken out. Then Freeman and Albies, couple of hits for the Braves.
And look at this up here on the left-hand side right now. We can leave this up for a second. St. Louis, that's your stat. That's your winning recipe right there. Adam Wainwright, your leadoff hitter, and then one of your studs. That is your recipe for a win day in and day out, and that's what you need. Pitching, you need a guy to get on base. It doesn't have to be always Tommy Edman, and then you need one of your guys to drive in some runs. So there's another story for you right there, is why things work when they work, and great example of how a team plays.
Freeman pulls it foul for strike 1. Today he is 1 for 2 and has scored the only run for the Braves.
I throw him 3 breaking balls in a row, middle in, and challenge him to keep one fair. But keep it on the inside. Like in there, but the breaking ball, because if that ball starts to come down by his feet, he's going to pull him foul. He's got that kind of swing. He'll stay inside it if you leave it out over the plate. But I have a hard time believing if you can make a pitch with the breaking ball or the slider in, he can't keep it fair.
0-2 pitch.
This guy's some kind of hitter.
Great player. Last year's MVP of the shortened season.
A little shocked to see that he's only hitting 250 this year so far, but that will change.
He's picking it up here the last 2 to 3 weeks. And if the Braves are going to go anywhere, they're going to need him to do it. 9 strikeouts for Waino. Twice of Freeman, twice of Acuna. Think about that too. You talking about your winning formula, you keep the top
and
quiet. He's done that.
Vice versa, right? But so far the key to the game is sticking, with Waino being the stopper to the losing streak.
Albies is 1 for 2. He's had a very fine series for Atlanta. Curveball and a strike. Next time we see the Braves will be later tonight, and then in St. Louis in August. The 0-1 pitch from Wainwright varies his delivery to the plate, taken high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Isn't it funny if you think about it too? Like, we talk about your seasons and your teams with the story, good and bad. It's even inside the game, right?
Yeah.
It's, you can basically exactly pinpoint why things happen the way they happen. And very few times, you can say, well, we just got beat today by, guy but the story would be the opposing pitcher. But it's almost like day in and day out. You can write a script to exactly what went right or wrong during a baseball game.
1-2 pitch. And in this case, it just seems like when they hit, they don't pitch, or vice versa.
Like, how many times do you turn on a game when it's a 9-8 score and you're just like, well, you know, we scored 8, but, you know, it's just it's usually something pinpointed right perfectly.
Today it's been in sync, and that is strikeout number 10 for 39-year-old Adam Wainwright. Second double-digit strikeout game of the season. 12th time he's done this in his career. That strikeout ties his season high of 10. He did that ball game that we did against Washington back on April 20th.
He's only got 12 in his
Only
career.
12.
That's crazy. You think about it.
I thought it'd be more than that,
we
too.
just did a game with someone that had 99, and they came up.
Max Scherzer.
It was Scherzer on the road. We were on the road, but came up one short of 100. That's amazing. When you think about Adam Wainwright having 12. And you, my friend, are amazing with that memory.
I like to follow Max Scherzer.
Pretty good.
It's fun to watch. I used to do his games at college. So I saw him in college and follow him in the pros. A strikeout, and he strikes out the side, and a season high 11 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright. 11 for Waino. 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app and get 50% off Cardinals tickets. And for more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Tyler Matzik is the new pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. 9-1 Cardinals behind a 12-hit attack in the pitching of Adam Wainwright.
Another hard throwing left-hander coming in with not a whole lot of pitches thrown this week, so plenty of rest to see some velocity again from the left-hand side. Upwards of 97.
Well, in a shortened game of 7 innings, Adam Wainwright has a chance to not only tie but break his single game high for strikeouts, which is 12. He's at 11, and he's done that 5 times in his career. Chevy called to the pen, and 3 outs to go for Waino in a 9-1 St. Louis lead. As Sosa looks at a ball outside, he has struck out twice and flied to left over 3. You think he knows that his game high is 12 and he's 1 away?
I'm going to say no.
I would agree.
I'm going to say if you would ask him yesterday or tomorrow, yes. But right now, during the heat of the moment, I'm willing to bet that he's one of those guys he probably doesn't even realize he has 11 unless he was at home and it was up on the board. You know, if you had like the K zone area. But I'm willing to bet he doesn't know he has 11.
Adam Wainwright, by the way, in these doubleheaders that have been shortened because of last year, if you go back to 2020 and now today, so 3-0, 18 1/3, 5 earned, 5 walks, 18 strikeouts, 167 coming into his start today. It's been great. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and Sosa lines it to Dansby Swanson at short. First out. Well, here you were talking about being aggressive early. So first pitch swinging, Cardinals about 29% of the time. Today it's about 40%. Last 4 games at 20, but they got to the pitching of the Braves today.
I mean, look at those struggles in the previous 4 games too, with 20% swinging at the first pitch. And like I said, the stats we've quoted in the past couple weeks and months have been the league average is well over 400 swinging on the first pitch. And it just, You get a lot of get me over breaking balls, a lot of fastballs, and the thing that people look at whether you're trying to make a guy work. Yeah, I understand that every now and then. There's a type of pitcher that you're going to go after and a type that you're not. And today was the day. It's 93 straight, a little bit of a cut, and you look back and their pitchers haven't thrown a lot of pitches, which is fine because you have a 9-1 lead, and that's basically the name of the game is scoring runs before it's making a guy work. And you're going to get a guy like back in my day, you would make Roger Clemens work and guys like that, and Roy Oswald, and guys that threw a lot of hard pitches with good off speed stuff. Randy Johnson, you would try to get him an upper pitch count, and you would pay attention to that. But guys that, you don't do that with guys in the lower 90s, guys that don't have that, stigma of being the best pitcher in the league. And, Scherzer, another guy, you would try to make sure that you get a pitch to hit early, and if not, you got to back off because you want him out of the game. You don't want him being in the 5th inning with 40 pitches. So it's another different story for every game. And today the story is getting up there and taking advantage of pitches to hit early in count.
1-2 the count on Paul DeJong. He is 0 for 3 today. Couple of flyouts and a ground out. And the next to the Cardinals shortstop. Strikeout.
And that might not be the case in the next game. You never know. Drew Smiley, left-hander, throwing in the second game today. Kind of have to know what's going on inside that clubhouse and what kind of guys have faced him and see what he does. And it's just, that's why I don't like this. We got to do it this way. There's no this way. You just got to do it. Got to get it done somehow.
The previous 7 games, the Cardinals had 10 runs, and today they've got 9, and Waino will try to finish it off when we come back. Game 1 of a doubleheader. They only go 7, and the bottom of the 7th rolls in. Finish off 7-inning complete game. He's got 11 strikeouts. He has walked 2. He's allowed 3 hits. And Jimmy, he has been everything that you hope he might be on this Father's Day. Our Budweiser player of the game, Adam Wainwright.
Yep, and happy Father's Day to him too, as long as we're going in that direction. And what a game, like you said, and it was definitely needed to get on the winning track, stop the losing streak, and the offense has done a nice job too. But you said he's 1 strikeout away from tying his career high here with only a 7-inning game. So just goes to show you how good he has been today.
So he's had 12 strikeouts in a game. He's done that 5 times. And now with a season high 11 strikeouts here in this ball game, season high here in 2021. And with the Cardinals reeling a bit, they needed a good start here in game 1 of the doubleheader, and they have gotten that from the 39-year-old. They've also gotten production from their lineup, and they've gotten production from the big 2 in Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt is driven in 4. Arenado 2-run homer. That kind of set the tone in this game.
And that's why those 2 guys look nice and relaxed right now, too.
Yeah.
And Mike Shilton and Maddox sitting there kind of chewing on their gum, taking a look around. Thank you so much, Adam Wainwright. Just to rework the magic in the second game.
Well, he snapped the season high 6-game losing streak against Cleveland. Now a chance today to snap a 6-game road losing skid. And the first pitch pumped in there for a strike. He has struck out the last 4 he has seen. And 5 of the last 7. The 0-1 pitch.
Wow, I think he has struggled today, and I mean this like he's one of the better umpires in this league, and he has just been a little bit all over the place today.
1-1 pitch. Now 1-2. It has been a privilege to watch Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina all these years, and still doing this at a high level. The 1-2 pitch. Put in play, backhanded by Arenado. Off balance throw. What a play by Nolan. The first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Tremendous defense from the Cardinal third baseman.
Just a nice play. He's done this a million times during practice. He flips it over there, and look at the play by Goldie right there. Doesn't try to do anything fancy. Doesn't stretch early. Doesn't panic. He just waits for the ball to get there. Knows he has plenty of time and just kind of backs off and lets the ball take him to the other side of the bag.
Dansby Swanson and that sly smile from Waino looking back at Nolan like, really?
Yeah. It's kind of the running joke when you play with guys that are that good. You just kind of like laugh it off because it isn't as easy as it looks.
Lined and caught by Sosa into the shift for out number 2. Some defense helping out Waino here in the bottom of the 7th. Great play.
I don't know if I've ever seen Adam smile like that twice in one inning, let alone at all. This play is a great play. Good jump, sinking liner.
Two outs, and Contreras the final hope for the Braves. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Ball 1. Check swing, he went. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2.
One more of those at the bouncing right behind the plate. Might give him that 12th strikeout.
The 1-2 pitch. Back in his home state against the team that originally drafted him, grew up a Braves fan. Cardinals needed him to come up big, and he has done that here on this Father's Day, like he's done for so many years in St. Louis. The 2-2 pitch. Tap foul.
I love the fact that he originally wore his socks up like that, up high, because of Chipper Jones. It's amazing.
.25 complete games. The next will tie him with Justin Verlander. Pitch number 106. Cardinals do have Daniel Ponce de Leon getting loose just in case the pitch count gets up there, but good luck trying to take Waino out of this one.
I was going to say.
Could this be the final pitch? The 3-2. Check swing, take it high, and it's ball 4. At times it's been a strike today. A little smile there from Wainwright, and his 3rd walk issued this afternoon. Snaps a string of 6 in a row he had set down, and it brings in Ender Inciarte, who has walked in, grounded out. Last season, Wainwright had 9 strikeouts at Milwaukee, game 1 of a doubleheader. And today he's got 11, and that's strike 1. And Inciarte having words with Hunter Wendelstedt. The 0-1 pitch.
Wow. I thought for sure no matter where he threw the ball.
No question that was going to be a strike.
Wow.
After having words with your home plate umpire.
Ooh, that was some serious words too. Although it wasn't very animated.
The 1-1. Waino knows that, and that's why he's going there. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's kind of like the Sunday night game at home against the Cubs.
Yachty's thinking the same thing. He's like, after that, are you kidding me? You're not going to give me that?
The 2-1 pitch. And a fly ball. Right center. Carlson has it. Waino, 7 innings against his former team, the team that drafted him, the team that he loved, and he shuts down the Atlanta Braves today in a game that the Cardinals needed 9-1. He gives him 7. Arenado, Goldschmidt, big days, and the Cardinals take game 1 of the doubleheader. Well done all the way around on this Father's Day.
Yeah, they scored early. Adam did a great job, and you know what? They did better than they've done in a while. They piled on, and they scored in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. 7 more runs, and that is just a nice day.
The line for Adam Wainwright, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hits, and a run. Waino picks up the victory. He's 5-5, and the Cardinals a game above the 500 mark at 36-35. And coming up, it'll be game 2 later tonight on Sunday Night Baseball. Well done, Adam Wainwright. Coming up, it's the post-game show. Cardinals win it. Happy Father's Day, 9-1.